Patch 25.19 is now out, and this is a big patch for ADCs. A lot of champions are getting some changes this patch, so let's go over them. Let's start with the biggest one, which is Jinx. She's getting buffed with her E damage going up and her Q bonus range going up by 20 at level 1, but stays the same at level 9 when you max Q. This is a really big buff, and for Kaisa, this is actually pretty bad, since Jinx is already a difficult matchup to begin with, and now it's gonna be even harder to lane since it's easier for Jinx to poke you, and with this extra range it's also gonna be harder for you to trade or even go all in if she ever gets too close, and that's by the way gonna last all the way until level 8, which is already a big portion of the laning phase. So be careful this patch, because since Jinx is a popular character, you're gonna face her a lot in 25.19. But it's not over yet, because Draven is also getting a pretty decent buff, with his W getting more attack speed and ultimate getting more base damage. Like I said before, this is a pretty good buff, giving him more damage in all lanes if you ever commit to a fight. Now if you're someone that permabans Draven, that buff does not change much. But if you're someone like me, for example, that prefers to ban Nila, which is Kaisa's true counter, then this buff is really annoying, since it's gonna make it even harder to fight a Draven in a fight, which is already not the funniest thing to do before the buff. Finally, for ADCs, Caitlyn base AD is going up from 60 to 62. Now this might seem like a weak buff, but actually no. This is actually a pretty decent buff, because remember, Caitlyn is a poke champion, which means that even if her auto attacks and abilities only do 1% more damage, that's for every single auto attack and ability she lands on you during the lane, so over time this will actually have an impact. Now thankfully there are some nerfs. The biggest one is Sivir, which is getting a 15% base AD nerf on her Q. This is a big hit to her poke, so this should make the lane a bit more comfortable. And finally, Corki is also getting nerfed with his Q base damage and AD ratio going down. Corki is already a pretty easy matchup, with the only problem being the lane, which can be a bit annoying. So with this early game nerf, this should make the champion an even easier matchup for Kaisa. And there we go. Overall, this is pretty much an indirect nerf to Kaisa, with two of her hardest matchup being buff, not to mention Caitlyn that is annoying to lane. Moreover, these three champions are popular, so you're gonna face them a lot this patch, which will make Kaisa a bit more difficult to play in 25.19. And by simply looking at early data, Kaisa win rate already dropped by 1.5% for the first day. Now obviously, take this data with a grain of salt, but I do expect Kaisa win rate to drop by around 1% this patch. Now this patch did not touch on any items, so I won't be covering builds, but if you want to see how to build Kaisa in 15.19, I recommend to watch my season 3 guide that goes over everything in detail. Finally, for the matchup tier list, this was the one for 15.18 and this is the one for 15.19. As you can see, a few things have moved. First off, I moved Caitlyn to the OK tier. In my opinion, I still think that if you're a Kaisa main or OTP, Caitlyn remains a pretty simple matchup, since this buff doesn't change the fact that she's still really squishy in lane, and if she ever gets caught, she becomes an easy kill. Not to mention that her mid game is not the best if she didn't have a strong lane. But if you're more a casual Kaisa player and you're not used as much to the Kaisa Caitlyn matchup and how to deal with Caitlyn poke, then this buff will be way worse, because the lane will feel way harder now because of her stronger poke. At the same time, I dropped Sivir to the OK tier because of her nerf. Next up, Yunara is going down to the easy tier because of the nerf she got in 15.18 that basically broke her kneecaps, so she should not be an issue for Kaisa at the moment to respect her scaling. On the other hand, Ashe is going up to the hard tier since she has become stronger, especially after the buff she got last patch. And there we go. This should cover everything you need to know about Kaisa in 25.19, and with that said, enjoy the gameplay and subscribe. If Darius continues to get fed, I'll probably just commit towards Utal Kraken Seer and not Collector second, because Darius can get really tanky, so I don't want to go for a build that will have a hard time killing him. Sad. Can I actually go through without getting hooked? Yeah. Oh boy, this game is a bit difficult. Play for bot lane, please. Just play for bot. Uh-oh. Nice. Ah. Nice. Yeah, but I can't lane into the goddamn Zed though. We trade. It's fine. Get dragon. You knew it. Ah. There we go. I'm forced stop because I need to side lane because no one side lanes. So I lose top tower. No choice. Okay. Rip. A bit greedy by me there. Okay. Alright. I'm a bit greedy. Going 1v4, maybe a bit too much there. Especially to 4 assassins. We shut down the Darius and win the game. With Burst Kaisa. That's Burst Kaisa for you. So much damage. And I inted the last 2 play, by the way. I could have gotten way more damage if I didn't int the last 2 plays. So the power of Burst Kaisa right there. That's why I love this build. With less gold than my mid, less gold than my top, less gold than my jungler, I still did almost more damage than Volibear. So yeah.